One suspect is dead after attempting an attack on a Detroit area synagogue. It's a sprawling facility that is home to a school and an early childhood center. Law enforcement provided an update just last hour. CBC's Katie Nicholson was listening in following the late-breaking developments here from Washington for us. Katie, what did we learn from officials?
You know, investigators very careful with their words tonight, as this is very much an ongoing investigation. What we know is just today, before 1 Eastern, a vehicle was driven through the doors of the Temple Israel complex, which, as you know, is a sprawling complex housing a school and a synagogue. So essentially, this individual drove down the halls, and that's when security guards, police told us earlier, opened fire. The suspect was killed, but then there was a fire in the back of the vehicle. We could see very early on through sort of overhead aerial shots there that there was thick black smoke pouring out of the building. Responders went in there with gas masks on. Here's Sheriff Mike Bouchard with a few more of the details.
One of the head of security was taken to the hospital. He got knocked down by the car when it breached the building, and we've had 30 law enforcement officers taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. So a lot of our folks from my SWAT team and other agencies are still in treatment because that building became engulfed when the car, and we'll learn all of that through the investigation, why it became engulfed in flames, what was the ignition source, and I think the ATF is taking the origin of that source and origin of the fire.
Now, important to know that all of the staff and the 140 kids that were on site were whisked away to safety, police helping there as well, taken in by a country club across the way. Now, you heard the sheriff there talk about the fire and ignition point. The ATF bomb techs, bomb sniffing dogs went through the area and through the vehicle. They told us earlier, out of an abundance of caution, investigators wanting to clear that vehicle for any IED explosives. We have not gotten an update yet from the ATF about the results of anything that they may have found. We don't know if there was anyone else involved, and we don't know about any potential motive. The FBI special agent in charge of the Detroit field office was very careful in the briefing not to use the word terror yet in connection to this investigation. Here's Special Agent Jennifer Runyon.
And I can confirm that we are leading the investigation right now as a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. As my partners have said, this is an active and ongoing investigation with an active crime scene, and I ask for your patience as we process this evidence and pursue every lead that has come to us and that we have developed thus far.
So they have more than 100 agents and analysts working on this right now. They've even started a tip line for this incident.
Katie, you mentioned they're not using the word terror attack at this point, but it does come at a time of heightened terror alerts in the United States and around the world, especially, I think, when it comes to synagogues. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, you think about the sort of the Anti-Defamation League really sounding the alarm about a rise in anti-Semitism, and pretty much from the moment that this conflict in Iran began, we started hearing from national security organizations here in the U.S. about sort of stepping up those counter-terror and counterintelligence assets that they have, talking about being on heightened alert, getting notes from the Secret Service about sort of hardening some of the protection that they have around government buildings and infrastructure, but also warning folks that soft targets are in play. So that includes places of worship like synagogues. In fact, we heard tonight from the sheriff, just to give you a sense of the sort of the collaboration that's happening on the ground right now, is that local law enforcement are in contact with any of these so-called soft targets like the synagogue. The sheriff saying he had just been speaking with an individual there about 2 days ago, sharing information, he said. So very much a heightened alert. And to give you a sense of the sort of the terror threat, just today, there was a shooting at Old Dominion University in Virginia. was one person who was killed, 2 other injured, and law enforcement confirming that the suspect was somebody. This is now being investigated by the FBI as a terror act, and the suspect, somebody who had previously pled guilty to trying to provide material support to ISIS back in 2016. So there is a heightened sense of guardedness and worry that there could be some sort of retaliation or other actors finding an opening right now to lash out at the U.S. Because of this conflict in Iran.
CBC's Katie Nicholson in Washington. Thank you.
You're welcome.